Oh, yeah.
3 points in the first half.
Oh, was it only 3?
Yeah.
Was six or seven turnovers?
6 turnovers in the first half.
Yeah, that's some good defense, man.
Yeah. He also forced 2 turnovers in the first half.
Yeah. Anyways, just want to, again, we're super excited about Thursday night. Awesome opportunity for our football team to be 1-0 this week against a good Syracuse team coming in with a 4-3 record. Tons of respect for Coach Babers, but again, awful excited. I know we're going to have a packed house. Lane Stadium, Thursday night football. That's Blacksburg. That's Virginia Tech, and we're happy to be part of it.
Questions? Future Wireless Mike, we'll start with Andy.
Do you feel like you got what you wanted out of the open week in terms of recruiting, health, practice, everything associated with that?
I think we had a good plan. I do. We had a couple of good days of work where we got Syracuse work in. We got young guys scrimmage work in. We got some individual and group. We got a little bit of good on good. We did that for 2 days. We got 2 good days of recruiting in our footprint. The guys were able to get some light lifts in. We pulled back a little bit on them and the practice time, and they also had 2 off days built in. So a few guys coming back, on the mend, which is good. So I think all in all, it's been a good transition.
Garrett Shrader's a bigger quarterback than maybe you faced this year, and he runs pretty well too. What kind of challenge does he present with the ball in his hands? And have you faced a runner quite like him recently?
Yeah, I think I'd have to say Kyron. Just a big guy that can run the ball well. When he's on, he's one of the better ones in the league. And we recruited him at my previous stop. And, we know a lot about him. He's a good, strong athlete. He's got good speed, a lot of confidence. I think when he's playing his A game, he's an awful good quarterback.
Speaking of Shrader, how does that factor into the run defense and making sure gap responsibility? And do you necessarily have to have a spy to make sure he doesn't break contain?
Yeah, I think first of all, in the run game, we had to do that with Wake Forest. I mean, they had a pretty athletic quarterback that, would run the ball. So we had to account for him in the run game. And I think, maybe more so than Wake, but again, we have to always be aware of these guys that are dual threat guys scrambling for a first down. Whether you spy them, whether you twist your front, whether you're playing a tight zone coverage where you can get some guys rallying to him. But it's certainly a part of the game plan in, controlling what he can do with his feet.
And he's also a very good passer in terms of completion percentage, but there is the possibility for interceptions. He's thrown almost as many as he's thrown touchdowns this year. Is this a game where you could see your defensive backs challenged?
I think they do a nice job. Obviously, Coach Babers and what they've done with their offense over the years has been impressive, particularly at Syracuse. So, I think we got our hands full that way. They got some good targets. He has proven to be a very accurate passer at times. And, we have to be opportunistic and get our hands on some balls.
They've been very good in terms of red zone defense this year. What have you seen on film that makes them stand out, be so efficient in that area?
Yeah, they're very aggressive in the red zone. Generally there's not anybody deeper than about 5 yards from the line of scrimmage. They're bringing, I would say, usually 6 and making you account for everybody and playing tight coverage. They've done a nice job down there.
Allen, that running back, he seems like he's very dynamic. He and Shrader, a nice 1-2 punch. What kind of makes him so dangerous?
Yeah, I think that's just it. He's as dangerous out of the backfield in the throw game as he is getting the ball handed to him. He breaks tackles. He's a hard runner, and he's a good route runner. Good ball skills. He's a guy we have to account for in the passing game.
Back there with David and Andy.
APR had that memorable game against Wake Forest. How does a defense build off of that kind of success moving forward?
Yeah, I think the guys are excited. And, there's been a lot invested in winning more one-on-one battles. And, APR, what he brings to the program and his technique and skill set and, I think also the investment we made in the offseason to be better there. It's just a culmination of a lot of hard work from the defensive line. I think also from Coach Price and Coach Marv, and then on top of it, we brought in a martial arts guy multiple times. We've studied other teams that are do a nice job pressuring the quarterback to make sure that we're doing what we can, and I think the investment's paying off. It's got to continue to. Down this back half of the season, we've got to be able to pressure quarterbacks.
And you mentioned it in your opening statement. This program is so synonymous with Thursday night football. To you, what's special about Virginia Tech football in that time slot?
Yeah, I think it's been great for our brand. I think people got to know Virginia Tech on Thursday nights maybe before anywhere else. I know once I left the program and was coaching other places, I always tuned in on Thursday nights. Very excited about a chance to watch the Hokies in that time slot. So, it's again, it's about us being 1-0, but everybody's excited about a Thursday night game here in Lane.
We're talking to Chris here after you. What has that process been like for him, first-year play caller, and you handed the reins to him? Has it been as smooth as you anticipated? Has anything come up that maybe you hadn't anticipated?
No, I think it's been pretty smooth as far as his operation, his planning each week. We've kind of fallen into a routine where I'll have some notes on a Tuesday or Wednesday that I walk down the hallway and share with him, and things that I think will be important in the game, or things that maybe I'm seeing out of our group that he needs to consider or take a look at. So we work very well together. He's mature. He handles criticism, constructive criticism very well. He's a really good leader in that room. He's a good leader out on that practice field, and he's doing a nice job calling the game. I think he's settled into it as the season progresses. He's even in a better place.
Have you resisted the urge to make suggestions during games? Or you've been in that position as a coordinator. What do you feel like when the head coach offers input in certain things? I guess James was an offensive-minded guy, so it was a little bit different.
I've walked down the sideline at times and kind of tapped him on the shoulder and said, hey, what about this? Or maybe think about this. Or I've said something in the headset. I try not to get in the way too much unless I feel like, I've got something to offer that I think can help us. So they do a nice job on, in-game management, the defensive staff. So I feel confident in those guys, and especially in Chris.
We haven't asked you about Ali Jennings in a while. I know he was still in the boot last time we saw him, but no crutches. Does he hope to try to get back this year? Has he talked about possibly taking a medical redshirt coming back next year?
Yeah, I think all those options are on the table right now. There's still a situation where he could be back for a game or two, and any postseason player, if we're fortunate enough. So he's, I think he's still got all those options on the table right now.
This 3-3-5 defense, Rocky Long, how familiar are you with that? I'm sure being a defensive mind. Have you guys crossed paths before?
We haven't, but certainly a bunch of us, in the defensive circuit, got a ton of respect for Coach, and he's had a lot of success over the years defensively, and it is a unique package. He's very aggressive with it, multiple fronts. He's about 50-50 whether he's in an odd look or an even look. I don't want to use the word junked up because I don't want to do it a disservice, but it's just hard to figure out sometimes what you're getting and who's got what gap. It makes it tricky.
And in terms of your offensive line, it seems like that group has made a lot of progress over the last couple of weeks as far as communication and Caden Moore kind of getting that group all on the same page. What's the toughest part with this defense that they're facing, that part of that challenge?
Yeah, I think that's IDing, what you see, communicating that, and then any pre-snap adjustment, communicating that very well. So it's about the preparation, the last 7-8 days in what those things look like. Are there tips? Are there tendencies that we need to be aware of? And, between the O-line and the quarterback and the eyes in the sky with Coach Bowen, that, we get ourselves in the best play.
We're
We're talking to Jaylen Strowman after practice today, and when he's been on the field, he's been probably one of your most reliable safeties. Has there been more of an emphasis about him being able to stay on the field after the two targetings?
Yeah, absolutely. But I will say this. I love the way Stro plays. He plays fast and aggressive. He just has to do a better job of seeing what he hits. And, of course, we've talked to him about that. I don't want to slow him down. He's just got to be more mindful. And he's a smart enough young man. I think he'll do that.
What have you seen in his growth this year since he's been a starter, even though he got a lot of starter reps last year when Shamari moved down to nickel?
Yeah, I think he's more of a true constant now. You know, he's an every down guy that can fit the run. He's playing both field and boundary, which is not always easy to do, but I think he's pretty comfortable at either spot right now. He's physical in the run game, but he's got good speed and good coverage skills in the throw game.
Changing the topic a little bit, Dax Hollifield is going to be back in the area this weekend at Martinsville. You had a guy at Penn State, not in your position group, but Journey Brown, who has made the transition to NASCAR and being on a pit crew. Did you think that Dax could have an opportunity to be a pit crew member in NASCAR if the NFL didn't work out for him?
Yeah, I think Dax is a unique guy with a tremendous, well-rounded skill set. He's smart. He's a hard worker. He's tough. He loves excitement. He's emotional. So, when I heard that was working out for him, I wasn't surprised. I told him I need some tickets.
All right, let's go to Zoom for a couple.
On Zoom, please use the raise hand feature to ask questions for Coach Pry, and we'll open it to questions. Any questions for Coach Pry? Okay, Travis.
All right, anything else in the room, David?
In terms of their ability to get pressure and get in the backfield, a lot of TFLs, a lot of sacks, what stands out to you on film just about how they kind of attack?
I think two things, really. They play very hard up front. They're an aggressive group that way. I think, secondly, their structure, their scheme presents some issues where there's free hitters. You'll have a D lineman come clean where nobody picks him up, or you'll have a blitzer come clean where nobody picks him up. So when they're on and they're right, they put themselves in a pretty good situation.
Virginia Tech has been playing on Thursday night since 1994. Do you have any fond memories of just Thursday night games in Lane Stadium, whether you're watching from your couch at home or when you were GA here?
No. I just know that was always something I looked forward to. If they were playing Thursday night, it gave me a chance to watch. I was always coaching on Saturdays and just a ton of pride and always pulling for the Hokies and certainly just memorable, being able to watch them on a Thursday night. And there's no other team in the country and no other venue that jumps out to me when I think about Thursday night football more than Virginia Tech. It has to do with our tremendous fan base. It has to do with, our unbelievable entrance and the style of play that Virginia Tech has played with over the years. So, I think we need to go, represent Thursday night and, be 1-0 this week against another good ACC team.
Dave?
On a much lighter note, did you get to decompress at all during the bye week? Maybe watch a little football? Anything stick out to you if you did?
We flew out of here Wednesday night, recruited for 2 days, flew back in Saturday morning. They misplaced our luggage. It went to the Bahamas for the four of us. We still don't have it. And then we had the defensive players to the house for a couple hours, cooked out for them and watched some football, so that was enjoyable. And then woke up Sunday morning, and it was Syracuse Tuesday. So,
Can I ask
not
what game
really.
you watched?
Yeah, what's that?
Can I ask what game you watched?
We were flipping around. Yeah.
All right, thanks, Garrett.
All right, thanks, everybody.